Welcome back to the Goonerverse, everyone. Another live stream, another chat not from home. I'm here in my mum's office, hence the really cute picture of me. I was quite, let's be fair, I was quite a cute kid, no? Anyway, welcome all. Sorry I'm a minute or two late. Sorry that the audio and visuals aren't quite how I'd want them to be, but hopefully you can all hear me loud and clear if there's any issues on the internet front, any lag, any other problems, just let me know and I'll try to get it fixed as best I can. But yeah, we're not operating in the most optimal of setups. Arsenal lost 3-2 to Manchester United, and it's one that I'm still digesting. It's one that has brought up a lot of conversation and stirred a lot of anger and frustration amongst some, not all, but some Arsenal fans. But I'd certainly say a larger amount of Arsenal fans than I think we perhaps would have expected to, for the position we're in this season, for the fact that we are 4 points clear at the top of the table, for the fact that we are, doing so well in the Champions League, fighting on all fronts in the FA Cup and all that. I wanted to discuss this in a bit more detail. I'd love all your thoughts. I'm going to ramble on for a little while, but I'd love all your comments. I'd love your thoughts. I'd love you all to sort of chip in and tell me what you think. As you can see, the title is "Should Arsenal Fans Be Booing?" And unless I've changed the thumbnail because I've bottled it with the heat I'm getting, I've sort of said that, look, I kind of get it. I don't want to really explain what I mean by that. I want to really explain what I mean by, booing is a very kind of public show of discontent with what the team are doing. And a lot of people have said, look, that's going too far. And for whatever reason, I can't quite feel that way. I don't feel like it did go too far, but I would, again, like to break that down a little bit more, talk about, where it comes from, why that's the case, why Arsenal fans feel the way they feel, why we're frustrated, despite being in such a great position. So I'll try to talk about all that. I think the important thing to discuss first is that I think we are having ultimately a great season. And the efforts from this team, even up to this point, because I don't think they didn't try against Man United. I don't think they didn't try against Liverpool and Forest. I think they were lacking something mentally. I think they were lacking some quality. I think they were lacking some clarity and ideas. But the efforts from the team to put ourselves in the position we're in this season, I can't fault them. I think the team are working so unbelievably hard on and off the ball, mainly off the ball, for being really honest, but I think they're trying. They're competing on all fronts. There's probably more games up to this point than they're used to. We'd normally go at the Carabao Cup sooner. We certainly haven't had good runs in the FA Cup and the Champions League. We know there's the 2 extra games that seep into January. So there's all that going on. That's true for most teams, but I'm just saying that's the case, and I appreciate the efforts. I also think we have some truly, truly, truly wonderful players. I think Saliba and Gabriel, in my opinion, are the 2 best centre-backs in world football. I wouldn't trade them for anyone. And I look at the goals we've conceded in the last 4 Premier League games. We've got 2 clean sheets against Liverpool and Forest, an error from Gabriel against Bournemouth, a strike from distance from Krupi, 2 great strikes from distance from Dorgu and Cunha, and an error again. So our last 5 goals conceded in the Premier League have all been down to ultimately, errors or strikes at distance. I don't blame Saliba and Gabriel for anything that's going on right now. Love them to bits. I really believe that they are the gold standard for centre backs right now. And I think if they go on to achieve trophy wise what I think they deserve to achieve for the level they're at, I think people will put them in conversations with some of the greats who play in the Premier League. I think they can get to that level. That is the potential I believe they have. I think Bukayo Saka, hairlender, who's come in, so much was kind of put on him when he was so young, and he's been better, better every single season. And since the injuries in 2025, has maybe struggled to rediscover his best, but still doesn't stop trying. I think Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Erdegaard when he's on it. I think these are great, great, great players. I love watching Calafiori play. Timber is brilliant. David Raya is the epitome of a modern goalkeeper, and he does it brilliantly. Ben White, we know we love the guy. And there's many, many more. And I think Mikel Arteta, the job he's done since taking over at Arsenal, has been outstanding. It's been a long path. It has. It has been small, incremental, if that's the word, steps. towards the position we're in now, but it has ultimately largely always headed in the right direction. And fair play to him for that. He is one of the bright young managers. Can you even still call him young? I mean, he's got 6 years of experience, but he's going to have a great career in management. I'm really, really sure of it. But for all that is said, as much as I've said all that, we're having a great season. I wanted to get that out because I think it's important to just acknowledge like the gratitude I have the team for the efforts, acknowledge the position we're in to have a really great season. As much as I feel all that, I thought I heard some of the boos on the Sky Sports coverage. And I thought, really? Okay. And then I saw people talking about it. I went, okay, no, this really happened. And I couldn't help but feel like, I should probably get some notes in front of me at this point, which I've written down. I couldn't help but feel like, yeah, I kind of get it. Why do we think they booed? I think they booed personally because I think a lot of this comes down to your interpretation of what that audible sign of discontent was from the Arsenal fans. Basically, did they boo? You know, full time goes, everyone goes boo, whatever, which I've always found quite a strange noise to make. Like I personally, and I should probably say this at the start of it all, I wouldn't have booed. I don't really boo. I wouldn't boo. I don't really gesture in that kind of way, but that's just me. Everyone's different. I don't think it was a boo that you normally get at full time when things are going terribly at a club, like you might have seen at Tottenham at times or Man United over the years. We've certainly seen it at Arsenal. I don't think it was a boo that signalled a we're not happy with you. You know, this isn't up to standard. We're angry fans and we expect and demand better. I think it was more of a rallying cry. I think it was more of a, come on, Arsenal, wake up. Look at what's in front of you. Look at the opportunity that's there. Come on. And I don't think it's simply results driven. And this is a really big thing for me. I don't think it's a results driven reaction. Arsenal fans have been through it, you know. When you really think about the heights we were at, the moving to the stadium, the falling down the table, the 9 years without a trophy, then the moving on of Arsene Wenger, the different ideas we've had, the 8th place finishes, getting battered at home, getting battered by our rivals. Arsenal have been through a lot. Like, it normally takes a lot more for Arsenal fans to boo. When I say gone through a lot, I mean, obviously in the scope and in the world of football. I think they're booing again. I think it's more of a rallying cry. Like, come on, get it together. It wasn't results driven, in my opinion. I think it was a reflection of the fans basically struggling to comprehend why the players look like they can't handle the pressure on the 25th of January. On the 25th of March, this would be too soon to start feeling this way. And at that point, you're really in the end game, you're in the run-in. It is so early. There's still 4 months of football to play. There's still like 15, 16 games left or something. There is so much football still to play. And I reiterate everything I've said on my player ratings, on my match reaction, on loose cannons. We're seeing heavy first touches causing us to lose possession. We're seeing bad decision making when we do have the ball under control. We're seeing too many extra touches and not a willingness to punch the ball forward quickly enough. And we're seeing loads of loose passes going out of play. So I don't think the Arsenal fans in the stadium are watching going, oh, Man United were really good. They struggled to make us play and we tried, but whatever, we kind of got done. And therefore they're just booing. I think they're looking at it going, not this again. Don't you dare act like the pressure's too much at this point. Don't you dare act like, the lights are too bright, the stage is too big, because that's how I felt. Now, just because I felt that way doesn't mean others feel that way. But for me, so much of the anger and frustration I had was, are you kidding me, boys? Are you kidding me? This is, and it's not just this United game. It was Forest too. It was Liverpool too. The trends were there. I really should look into the pass completion percentage of the team in all these games. I really should look at how many times were key players losing the ball, because it felt to me like we looked, on a technical level, we looked so below our best for 3 games in a row. Now, yes, it's not the easiest of runs. Liverpool, who were unbeaten for a while, Man United, who've got a spring in their step, and Forest away, who are fighting, sure. Or is also a underperforming Liverpool and Man United and a tricky, side in Forest, but who are ultimately in a relegation battle. And we picked up 2 points from 9. That's so far from good enough. I think Arsenal fans are getting frustrated because of the signs of nerves and the signs of a lack of mentality, real strong will, drown out the noise mentality that you need to win the title. And I think Arsenal fans are fearing that they're seeing this all again. It's not one game or one bad performance. It's not just 3 that we've mentioned. This season ultimately it's going well, but Arsenal fans, and I don't think you can blame them, are looking at this side who for a 4th year in a row are capable of winning silverware. That's 16 trophies over 4 years that Arsenal are capable of winning. And in the first 12 attempts, we've got 0 to show for it. So that umps the pressure on this year. But why did we struggle to get it done in the past? I think ultimately 16 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat in our final 18 games of 23-24. I think to label us bottlers in any way, shape, or form is ridiculously harsh and unwarranted. But we did miss big chances against Villa in that game. And then when the tide flipped on us a little bit, we never got control of that game in the second half. A similar trend to what we saw against Liverpool and to what we saw in this game against Manchester United. 22-23, again, bottle word is strong because I don't think we were ever better than Man City. In terms of, I always felt they still had the better players, and if they clicked into gear, they were going to do it. But to fall away the way we did at the end of the title race, it was a capitulation to some degree. Certainly was in results and performance. Whether that's because of mentality or not, we clearly weren't ready for that. But ultimately, Arsenal fans are frustrated by that. But we've also seen, not just these last few years, but we have seen, since we left Highbury, essentially, a feeling of frustration, a feeling of fans paying top money, supporting a club that's supposed to have serious ambitions, you've got really rich owners, and having this feeling of we're paying top dollar, but we're not kind of getting top dollar in return. Now, I think that conversation is long past Arsenal. Like, we are way past that because of the level the team's played at for so long. But I do think there's still this sense, and maybe this might be wrong, but I still think that there's a little bit of sense of, and I hate to say this, I'd love to know what we all think in the comment section below. But I think there's a little bit of a sense of expectation. I think the Arsenal fans, and I don't really mind this, are almost sort of holding the club to a bit of a standard now and saying, no, we know you're the best team in this league. We know City have been way off it. You've had this points cushion and had the opportunity for it to be bigger. No, don't mess this up. And I think there is a little bit of an expectation from the fans. The Arsenal fans have been criticised a lot at the Emirates, so I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. I can kind of understand why there's an air of expectation. I know you're fans, I know you're supporters, I know we are fans and supporters, but I'm talking about the ones who go every week. I know that to a degree, it should be a case of ride the wave, back them no matter what, and then see what the final outcome is. And I totally get that, which is why I don't go so hard on the team, because we've still got so much football to play, we've got so much to learn. They could demolish Leeds 4-0 on the weekend, and this kind of all looks a bit stupid. But I can't help but feel that there's a sense of expectation a little bit that I kind of understand. And I think what plays into that, and we have to admit this, is that the football isn't amazing. Now, I did a video only last week saying don't panic. And I meant everything I said about that. It was all about kind of understanding what the Arsenal team are, that we do rely on set pieces to a degree, but we've got our strengths and weaknesses and where we need to improve and things like that. I've also done a video a month ago, I think it was, before we played Villa, saying Arsenal were about to explode because I felt like the performances were getting there. And we did see 3 goals at Chelsea, 3 goals at Inter, 3 goals at Bournemouth, 4 goals against Villa. And the chances we had against Brighton, I think, showed that we were kind of starting to cook up to that point. So I stand by everything I said there. But when the going got tough against Liverpool and against Forest and against United, we weren't able to crank it up. We weren't able to turn the dial and get us going to a point at which we had sustained pressure. We were knocking on the door. Teams were sitting back. Teams are just kind of feeling they were lucky to get away with what they did in those games. Okay, fine, we'll take the draw. We'll keep it moving. Even United, from the moment they went 2-1 up, in fact, from the moment we went 1-0 up, I would argue they won that game quite easily. Now, I appreciate there was an error and 2 wonder strikes. But I think, again, to take this back to why Arsenal fans are frustrated. I think, again, it goes back to the sense of you're making errors, which ultimately one of them leads to a goal. You're looking nervy, you're looking shaky. But then when it's time to be the protagonist, to get the Emirates off their feet and to go and get everyone sort of going, the football isn't there. The ideas aren't there. There isn't a haste or an urgency about the way we play. So the Arsenal fans feel disgruntled. I found that second 45 against Liverpool so unbelievably frustrating. It felt like an exercise designed to frustrate and agitate, because I was watching it going, oh my word, we're not pressing, we're not getting stuck into them, we're not taking risks, we're not happy to say, okay, we might lose, but we're going to give it a go to win. We look erratic, and I think the fans are feeding off that a little bit. So I think I've covered there. My word, I've been talking for 16 minutes. I'm so sorry, I've been really rambling on. I mean, it is my live stream, but still. I think that captures a little bit why Arsenal fans feel the way they feel in the stadium. And I kind of get it. I'm so sorry, I kind of get it. What's a little bit sad, and I'm really hoping that this changes quite quickly. I'm really hoping that 2 Premier League wins in a row, maybe City lose to one of Spurs or Liverpool, and we kind of get things going in. I'm really hoping we therefore leave this feeling behind. But I can't help that there's a little bit of a feeling of just win us the title. Like, I almost think we're accepting Waneri going on loan, a hail ender of that quality who can add something, who's a particular type of flair player. We're kind of doing the mental gymnastics and telling ourselves, okay, fine, go on loan, and go improve. And maybe you don't fit what we need right now, even though we probably all want him to fit into this Arsenal team. We want him to be the type of player that plays a part in our team. And we're kind of accepting it. We're kind of accepting they don't play the best football, and we score a lot of goals from set pieces, and that ultimately get a lot of clean sheets because we're thinking it's going to get us over the line. But if it doesn't, I actually kind of really worry for this project and kind of what's next. But okay, that is way into the future. We don't need to do that. But I do feel that there's a little bit. I do think there's a little bit of a feeling. Some are saying, so I see your comment saying I'm fake for saying that. I look, I just genuinely tell you all what I think. So I'd love you to elaborate on why you think it's fake what I'm saying. But I do. I think the Arsenal. I think some people are feeling a little bit like, okay, we're kind of going to accept some things. But what I find difficult is, ultimately, I've seen what Arsenal can do. I've seen that Arsenal can go and play great football and can cut through teams, and the ideas can be really good. Tottenham, Bayern, Villa at home, Chelsea away. I think was really good expansive football. Even when we kind of got dominated away at Old Trafford, I thought we tried to counter and play more direct, and I really like that. So I think they're trying, but I just don't think it's a priority for this team. I don't think the team. Big up hand of Arsenal. I don't think the team and Arteta prioritise the kind of football that energises a stadium, that gets everyone really up off their seats and going, yeah, come on, let's do this. I think there's a sense of, we're just waiting. We're hoping for a moment, because it is more on the risk-averse side. Love hand of Arsenal. I know you always hold the fan base accountable and always represent the club well. So by all means, tell me if anything I'm saying is going too far or is too harsh. Ina says, okay, so Ina's replied. Interestingly, not what I thought he was going to say. So he called me hypocrite earlier. No, what did you call me? He said I was fake. Because when I said we need a Waneri endowment, you said, no, they are too young. Look at Carl at Bayern. Sometimes you need something different. Aina, send me the video, put it in the chat. Let me know which video I said this, because I'm 99% sure that's not true. And if I said anything like that, it's probably in a very different context. Dauman, I thought when he was 15, I thought that was too young to depend on. And Waneri, maybe summer 2024, I thought that, because he was 17. But since seeing them play, No, I mean, I don't remotely think that. I think they should be involved, certainly when Aries should be. So I hope that clears something up there. What else have I got in my notes? The Emirates crowd has been, yeah, so the Emirates crowd has been criticised a lot. And by the way, thank you for the super chats. I will get to them. But thank you so much. The Emirates crowd has been criticised a lot, and for me, when we do that, I sort of stop and I think, okay, so what should the Emirates crowd be in comparison to what we've seen from other teams that have got over the line? Man City, like, I don't subscribe to this notion that they have some terrible fan base. I mean, some of their away fans are some of the best, apparently, and I think everyone has trouble sometimes with home support and getting crowds going, whatever it might be. I think Liverpool, Anfield could be a touch overrated at times. Sometimes it could be absolutely magical. Now, City have won loads of titles. Has anyone ever said that the fans and the Etihad is what got them through that? Real Madrid have the most demanding fans in the world. They are incredibly impatient and hold the club to a certain standard. Now, I'm not saying that we need to be that or we need to be more like City or anything like that, but my point is, why can't Arsenal fans who are going to support, who are going to enjoy the team, who are going to a degree for entertainment as well as they are to support and enjoy, why can't they sit back and be fueled by the team as well? Ultimately, I've been there. It's very difficult to stand up and really give it and really try to drive the team on when you feel like you're putting more energy into winning the game than necessarily the team are. And the team haven't, when pushers come to shove, when it's been, a tight game, we need a goal. They haven't knocked on that door and absolutely done everything to just batter that ball over the line into the back of the net. They don't play that way. That's not the kind of football we play. And so that's not the kind of reaction that you're going to bring out of the Emirates crowd. Of course, I think for certain games, the big ones with the fire display and whatever, the crowd should be on it. But I think it's also the responsibility of the players and the football we play to keep it moving. Now, if the football's going to be at times a bit sterile, a bit risk averse, then expect the fans to somewhat sit there a little bit patiently. Now, this is separate to the booing thing. Like I said, I wouldn't have booed. I wouldn't have booed. But I understand why there's this slight undertone of like, come on, boys, wake up. Arsenal Football Club, wake up. I don't think it was a boo to say, you're bad, you're not good enough. I think it was a boo to shake. When you're trying to get a message through to someone, you shake them. Come on. You just lost to Manchester United at home. You've just gone and not one win in our last 3 games. And you're still 4 points ahead of Man City. They still need another 2 game swing to go their way. So with that in mind, I think there's a message. There's a come on, wake up, go and grab it, because you're all better than the error we saw from Zubimendi. You're better, Saka, than the output we've been seeing. You're better, Madueke, than dribbling the ball off the pitch. You're better, Jesus, and even Gyökeres in the first touches we've been seeing at times, and the finishing that we've been seeing at times. Erdegaard, demand that ball in the pocket, get fouled or skip away because you're good enough to do it. Don't put out the block to win the ball back, because once you get it, what's going to happen? Do you know the times I saw Declan Rice and Zubimendi go all the way to the centre-back to get the ball? Saliba and Gabriel are very good in possession, maybe as good as you lot. Let them have it and move up the pitch and drag United players with them. I think that is the frustration from Arsenal fans. I think it's, come on. So to answer the question, it's only taking 24 minutes. Should Arsenal fans be booing? I think the Arsenal players needed a bit of a shot in the arm. I think they needed something like a whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. They're onto us quite quick here. And I think they need to be held to that standard, and they need to be held accountable. And this isn't 1 game, this isn't 2 games, this is 3 games. But if you want, it's a 3rd game in a row that showed habits of the failures of previous years, habits that mirror the failures of previous years. And I think that is what the booing was about. So if that is the context, I didn't boo. Whoever did, if you are watching this, yeah, you'll know why he did it. If that's the context, I get it. If that is the context, I get it. If it's not, if it was, I'm disgruntled, I'm unhappy, and I'm entitled, then no. Yeah, that's probably not particularly constructive, but I don't think that was the message the Emirates were trying to get across. Let's do some super chats and some comments in these final 5 minutes. Electro says, do you reckon people questioning the Arsenal players' mentality now rather than later is a good thing, as it gives us time to sort it out? Yes, I do. I agree with that, and I do think it's a good thing, yeah. Chaitanya says, why are our forwards not creating or scoring? I'm sorry, our attacking stats are poor from all our forwards. Those stats aren't going to win your title. Yeah, Chaitanya, I'm doing a video. I'm not sure when it'll be out. It'll be out later this week. It's going to be titled like how to fix Arsenal's attack, because I'm going to pretend I know more than Arteta when I clearly don't. But I do think we've got an issue in profiling. I think we have Timber playing in the... I tweeted about this, actually. Let me get the tweet in front of me. And a lot of people agreed with me. I'd love to know what you all think. I think this. I really think this is a big reason for why we're struggling in front of goal, and in our attack in general. Timber is playing high in the pocket. I want him deeper in build-up. Declan Rice is playing on the left 8. I want him on the right 8. So when he makes his underlapping runs, he's on a stronger foot to deliver that ball because he does it so well with his right. Marino, I think you either play him deeper, he sits in build-up, or he sits higher to get on the end of things. The box-to-box position doesn't work because he gets overrun in midfield. Ødegaard for me is an 8 and a tempo dictator, not an out-and-out creator like Bruno is a 10. Eze for me is a left pocket player, so either left 10 or off the left drifting inside where he can show a burst of pace, he can go out to the touchline, come on the inside. He basically needs Trossard's role. He shouldn't be just a flat 10 playing very central back to goal or on the right pocket either. Saka, want him more central. He's very good with his back to goal. He's very strong. He can turn players. I want him getting shots off left foot, right foot, out on the touchline. He's got too much work to do, and there's too many players around him. Trossard, for me, is a finisher, not a creator. He's more often than not in creative positions. Martinelli is an inside forward. I want him making that run from out to in, darting in behind, not getting the ball to feet on the touchline, and trying to beat the fullback. That's all I got for now. Tell me if there's any others you disagree with. But I think, to answer your question, I think we have a massive profiling issue. CK says, plus set pieces and bundle goals from failed clearances in a separate box, plus lofted crosses aside too. Why can't we work a clean goal with the ball? Fair point. A lot of own goals this season, a lot of set pieces. I think we can. I just don't think we give everything forward to doing it. Mr. Holiday, and by the way, I've talked about some of the reasons why I was struggling to do that, because I think that is a Premier League-wide problem. I think that is a nature of where we are as a division and as a standard of football. But yeah, I think we don't fully commit to it either. Mr. Holiday says, my question is, can you win with an average attack? If you control every other aspect of the game, I have to come to terms with the fact that we will never be open free-flowing under Arteta. Yeah. I think... I'm not sure I'm in the camp of will never be that under Arteta, but I'm certainly in the camp that it will never be his priority. If Arsenal have a good rest defence, and by that I mean, what does our shape look like defensively when we have the ball? So Martinelli's got the ball on the touchline. How are we positioning ourselves in case we lose it to then go win it back? The rest defence is so important to Arteta and Arsenal. How are we out of possession? How are we in the high block, mid block, low block? If all those... And how are we moving the ball around in the thirds? If all of those things are established and there's a good platform for all of that in the first 10 minutes of a game, I think you then see Arsenal build on it and then start to really feel some confidence and go. But if we're struggling for that, I think Arsenal really struggle to ever build enough momentum to really kind of move forward with the ball at pace, with purpose, in a real cutting, blinding the opposition kind of way, like, whoa, we can't keep up with them. So I think that's pretty much it, everyone. Thank you for all the comments. Sorry, there's a few more actually. Whenever we have a promising attack, it seems to drop to defenders too often. You know, we scored, and I shouldn't complain, but like, it's kind of like, why was Timber the one in the box for that first goal? We play too much as a unit. There needs to be some individualism in the team. Ødegaard needs to be dropped and earn his way back into the side. I agree with that. I think I'll leave it there. People. Thank you for the comments. I'm so sorry I haven't gone through enough of them. I've just been glancing now. Thank you for the super chats as well. This was just a quick something I wanted to talk about. I don't want to do analysis on the game. I don't think there's much analysis in overhit passes and, you know, poor tempo and things like that. But I did want to chat with all of you, and I thought the booing thing was really interesting. I'd just love to know what you all think, really, basically, about the booing and the expression from Arsenal fans and the frustration everyone's feeling. Yeah. Anyway, one of those. I think I'll round it off there. Big thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with lives as and when needed. But I think there'll be some more content this week, and of course we play Wednesday, so we'll cover Kyra. All right. Big thanks, everyone. Catch you on a bit.